G'day viewers, how's it going?
How you going? G'day, hello, how are you? I didn't shave, but you love me anyway.
Yeah, look, and we just wanted to share with you today. There's a fairly special writer for one of the Murdoch tabloid rags here in Australia. Her name's Miranda Devine.
Miranda! Come on, Miranda, we're looking for you to hang and rock. Come on, babe.
She seems to be really going for worst human ever.
And she's getting there.
She really is. She's got a lot of competition, but she published a column on last weekend that was headlined, "Domestic violence wouldn't be such a big problem if unsuitable women stopped having kids with feckless men."
Booyah!
Now, first, this being one of the worst bits of victim blaming ever.
Ever. That's an EVA ever.
Yeah, and second, just the whole fucking class bigotry thrown in there as well. It's like, you little povos are all the problem.
You're an unsuitable woman. Staple up your vajut.
And third, it's just factually incorrect.
Ah, there is that bit, isn't
Yeah.
there? There is that bit where it's just fucking wrong.
Rich people have problems with domestic violence, essentially on par with any other demographic.
No!
She went on to say, oh, and it's drugs, and it's this, and it's that. And she seemed surprised when pretty much everyone went, oh, you're the fucking worst person ever.
Oh, these are the two fingers for you, Miranda
Yeah,
Devine.
including
you.
journos writing for the same paper as her, basically going to great lengths to distance themselves and say, yeah, fuck no.
Now, I might be in the National Front, and I might like butt-fucking niggers occasionally, but I'm not fucking Miranda Devine.
Yeah, and she actually doubled down after a couple of days. She wrote another column that basically said, oh, domestic violence is just feminist propaganda. The feminism is irrelevant, and so they're inflating and inventing the concept of how serious domestic violence is just because they want to control the world.
No.
So we found ourselves in the situation like, okay, she must be actively trying to be the worst, not just the worst person, I feel like the worst thing ever.
Yeah. You go, all right, there was Stalin, but he had a soul.
Yeah. And we were thinking,
there was Pol Pot, but he looked cuddly.
Yeah.
You know?
The shit that she got into this paper, and that was the other thing that blew my mind. I find it really difficult to believe any reasonable human could conceive of writing something like that, but it wasn't just her. Like, it had to go to her boss and through some sub-editors to the editor. A whole bunch of people had to decide this disgusting word vomit was worth publishing. Yep. That's what does my head in.
Computer says yes. Now, we do know that these days there used to be subbies, copy boys, editors, 3 levels of editor and the editor, and these days all of those jobs is done by one bloke and a computer, and he's rather rushed.
Yeah, he's let it go through. And I call it word vomit, but we're thinking of, what's worse than Miranda Devine? What could we do that isn't worse? That's like literal vomit, I think. If we vomited, like, projectiled onto a wall,
style,
and then just, like, pressed some newsprint against that.
Into that.
And showed that to people. That's of higher quality than her column.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm not just talking ordinary, I feel a bit queasy. I'm talking about AIDzee vomit. Someone's given him chili to eat.
Yeah.
And he's, like, vomiting blood and bits of his stomach lining. There's chunks.
Little
and it's not carrots, it's bits of AIDzee that are in there, right?
And there's hair and there's bits of Lego that we haven't seen for a while. And remember, I can do gymnastics. Because it's coming out both ends.
Yeah, so if that was sprayed everywhere and we just soaked some newsprint in it and handed it to people, that's better than a Miranda Devine column.
I knew a girl once who, what she used to like to do was eat Wheat Bix with Vegemite on. So far, so good. She also liked Malibu neat. What she'd do is drink the Malibu, buy the 3 bottles worth, and then eat her Vegemite and Wheat Bix. What she'd then do is vomit this up because she was toxicologized by the alcohol and go, that's a waste of Malibu, and eat it again. This process would rinse and repeat about 3 times. That, in and of itself, at the repeat process 4, is still better than a Miranda Devine episode.
It absolutely is. Like, I saw a movie and it was basically a drama set in an area where people had cholera, and they went into quite some detail about what shoots out both ends of you with cholera. It's watery, it's chunky, it's your intestines, it's awful, it's chunked everywhere. That's still better than a Miranda Devine collar.
I know a bloke who likes painting graffiti on the walls by getting Santorum in a horse syringe, whacking it down the end of his knob, filling up his bladder with the Santorum, and then pissing his remarks on the wall made out of urine and Santorum.
And that is better than a Miranda Devine column. That's got more depth and integrity and intelligence and is less disgusting than a Miranda Devine column. Now look, there was a campground near where I grew up, and I went there once when I was a kiddie, and there was an amenities block, and, you know, second day into camping, I had to take a crap.
As you do. When second day camping, got to take a crap.
When you're taking a piss, you just do it behind a tree. But I thought, I'm going to be a dignified human. There's an amenities block there. Unbeknownst to me, the amenities had stopped working, I guess, about a year earlier.
Disappointing.
Yeah. And people had got creative in a way I didn't expect. Like, I went to the cubicle and there was a pile. There was a small mountain, raised probably like a metre or so above the rim of the toilet, which had stopped flushing at some point, and it was toilet paper and shit, and it had been there for a long time, and it was surrounded by flies, so there were maggots crawling in and out of it, and I almost hurled, and I ran out, and I was young and naive at this point. And
As you do, we all there once.
I thought, girls don't do things like that.
Of course not.
I'm going to go into the girls' toilet, and it won't be that horrible. It was the same thing, but with tampons. The bloody tampons all through it. Tampons and shit and toilet paper and flies and maggots piled up with a smell that was like straight from Satan's ass. And look, fair enough, that's actually worse. That is worse than a Miranda Devine. That was awful. But we have both been on this planet a goodly number of decades.
Too many decades.
And we've seen some shit.
Oh, yes.
And in all of that, in all our wide and varied experience, only one thing was worse than the Miranda Devine column.